fancy intro music. Yeah! Woohoo!
Hey Star Trek Fleet Command fans, and welcome back to the channel where today, well, you're going to hear why me, DJ, etc. are kind of positive. So kind of what I want to do in this video is an update. Hence why my face is so big and we're not focusing on the background content, which is Star Trek Fleet Command. But why we're excited for November and whether or not that's justified. So to be clear, I'm just being very honest. It's not just me. I mean, me, DJ, etc. We are excited. Look at that smiling cat. It's technically not his cat avatar, but look at that smiling cat. We are very much looking forward to, with cautious optimism, what's happening in November. Now, the thing is, you as a player are not obligated to feel the way that we feel as content creators, right? Because you don't see what's coming. And even then, there are reasons to not trust Scopely's math and things that they make. A great example is actually right here. Carol Freeman. Yeah, you remember that whole $20 battle pass? Well, they didn't actually do the math right on that. They screwed that up, and that's why Carol Freeman is so stupid strong, just as I warned that she would be. So it's not like there's a track record of like, yes, constant success with Scopely. In fact, if we go back like even just recently, it ain't that great. I try to share these. If y'all are ever curious about the grades, here's some of the grades for this year. This is actually 50 is January, 57 is August. So you can see that officers have actually gotten better for the most part. This doesn't include Carol Freeman, which not good. But the ships actually start off really good. That's the Talios right there. And you can see as they kind of grew, the features okay, but stability and communication dropped. But then we had the like really, really rough month of, for example, there you go. That's September. You see that? That's a bunch of Fs. That's the feature grading and the Monavines, the Gilded Pickle grading. I mean, players have a legitimate reason lately to be frustrated. The monetization structure of Star Trek Fleet Command just feels like it's truly been trying to bleed that blood from a stone or from a turnip or whatever the phrase is. And it's been really rough. And one thing I've tried to point out is that this game is no stranger to those strategies. In fact, they've always tried to lean heavy into monetization. How it's done in the past, at least by our observation, is when months are good financially, they're a little bit more willing to give things away. And when months are lean financially, they just lock everything down behind walls. So let's get into why we're kind of excited about November. Now, Scope has been hyping things for a while, a couple months now, because this is the 5th year anniversary of the game in November, right? So we're in November. The official anniversary is around Thanksgiving. So like a month ago, they had this video, the behind the scenes, and we actually got to see what is clearly G6 content. Now, I'm not telling you when G6 is going to appear, but the Negvar is not in the game. Clearly, they're working on designing the Negvar. We also saw the Enterprise E in this video. We saw something that looked like the Scimitar, or at least we assumed it was. It was some type of interceptor that looked like that in this video they put out. So I'm not giving away any information they haven't already. So there has been a little bit of hype built. But even then, you know, what would make you excited about G6 for the average player? I would say this. So here's why I'm excited and why DJ is excited. I'm going to put DJ's smiling face back up there because we agree on this. And one thing that me and DJ are real big on is even at times when we disagree or agree, we are always generally on the same page with the direction we want Star Trek Fleet Command to go. So Smiling Cat and my opinion. If you want his opinion, you can also check him out on the podcast that he runs. He has the official Star Trek Fleet Command podcast, Talking Trek. So one thing about this upcoming month is the $20 battle pass, in my opinion, is a must buy, to the point where the whole Carol Freeman $20 battle pass, screw that. I would rather pay $100 for this battle pass than $20 for that one. And there's reasons for that. Let me tell you why. I'm not just here to shill for Scopely. That's not my goal. But my goal is, one, why is it valuable? One, it's valuable to most players. Carol Freeman was not valuable or valuable to most players. Most players aren't PvP players, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But sadly, this game has a lot of people who don't give a rat's booty about PvP. I do. I like PvP. Hell, I also like OPC hunting and token space. And I realize not everybody does that. So not everybody actually cares about this. What's coming out next month, I think everybody is going to have a benefit from. And more importantly, it's actually going to be beneficial to people who aren't just level 40 plus, like when the Voyager rolled out, for example, or when the Ferengi Whip rolled out. Both of those recent items are for higher level players. Now, would argue that the level 40 plus range is becoming where the norm of a lot of servers are at. So it's not exactly too high, but part of this upcoming battle pass, actually the whole thing that you're working with starts in the upper 20s, which is basically covering most of the game now. So it's a dynamic of, it feels like this month is getting back to the standard of what we saw at the beginning of the year. Like I said this on stream last night, that I've not been this excited for an arc since Freebooters came out. Now again, you can take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. I'm not trying to convince you to believe in this arc like I am. So feel free to drop your opinions of what you feel in the comment section below. But what I am trying to do is reset you to a baseline of neutral. I'm not trying to hype you up, but I am trying to tell you that the past 2 months, which admittedly have been boo-boo garbage, not October. I'm mostly talking about like August, September, but I guess if you want to throw in October, I thought October stabilized a little bit. And by the way, the grades that y'all gave kind of support that. But anyway, I'll get all those out to you soon enough. But I want to get everybody back to neutral, because G6, we know whenever that rolls out, that's catering to a certain group of player, right? So they need to get that right for everybody. But there's also other things happening in November that are good for everybody. You know, the big item that we're talking about buying for a battle pass, from what they've told us, you're going to be able to get that within the end of the year anyway, even if you don't buy it immediately. But obviously, you get bonuses by buying it immediately. Well, that's a 1, short track in terms of time of, getting it, and 2, a cheap price point, 20 bucks. I mean, the Ferengi Whip was 50, and we talked about how great of a purchase that was. Most ships that come in the game are $100. I mean, so it's a fair price point, and it actually has a realistic path for people to obtain later on if they choose not to do it, if they want to pay to progress instead of pay to play. And that's part of why I'm excited. The state of Star Trek Fleet Command for the past few months has really felt like pay to play. And November to me feels like a celebration of the game and pay to progress. And also want to throw this out because I don't think anybody's mentioned this. And you know what? NDA be damned. There's some quality of life updates coming in November that have been really well requested. Now, is everything that you want going to happen? No, it's not. And I'm not here to blow smoke up your butts. I always try to shoot straight to you. I've told you why I didn't do a Rev Deuce pack, because I didn't feel right, having tips and donations and views from viewers, and then also taking a cut from selling a pack for Scopely. I didn't feel right about that. Doesn't make it wrong or right. I just always try to shoot it straight. Not everything's going to be great this month. It's just not. Like, there are definitely going to be things that are catered to a higher level, and this is a new arc. When new arcs start, there's going to be higher level content focused on it. But the reason that me and Smiley Face here are excited is because the game is returning to what it should have never left, being the format that focuses on pay to progress, and then also rewarding those who are simply there, and then giving a path to it long term. And this is why the grades are so important, and why I'm glad we've been taking these all year long, because we can see that when they did that, see January, February, like March was Freebooters month. See the big B there? That's the most positive they've ever been. And you remember, we pretty much stayed positive for features for a long time until the past couple months. Again, this kind of fell off, and I can show you this graph right here if you want to be reminded of how bad it turned into, because that is not a B grade. That's not good. It's not good at all. So we've seen them have, when they do that model, it works as long as they communicate well and the game is stable. I know that's another tricky thing, but the reason content creators are excited, it's not just to hype things up, right? Like, I actually got to a point where I stopped giving out tips in Star Trek Fleet Command, or I'm sorry, hints in Star Trek Fleet Command. I stopped hyping up months because I just was like, I know players aren't going to enjoy this. And I feel like November is a month that if you're able to reset yourself back to neutral, like if you can admit and acknowledge that your frustrations are valid, and they have been, your frustrations for 3 months, whether you're free to play or a spender, are valid. What happened to spenders with Forbidden Tech, I would be pissed. What's happened to free to play with lack of sourcing on certain things, you should be pissed. But if you can reset back to neutral, I think November, that month, is going to put you back into what Scopely should have never left, which is the proper model. And it's some really good Star Trek stuff actually happening. And for those that missed it, end of the video, my big hint from yesterday is the big thing that me and DJ are hyping up is something that you can find in old Trek, you can find it in new Trek, and it's something that players have been asking for for a little over 3 years. So if you put all those 3 pieces together, some people have already guessed what it is. Maybe you can in the comment section. Maybe you can in the Discord. In fact, feel free to hop on over, ask me questions in the Discord. Again, I've repeated it 100 times. I'm not trying to blow smoke up your butt, and I'm sure there's gonna be somebody in the comments who just says I'm trying to shill for Scopely. I'm not, but I do think November has the potential to truly be a great month, assuming they don't burn it down, ruin the servers, and don't communicate anything. As long as they do the basics right. I think this has a great month for everybody labeled on it, and that's good because I'll be honest, this was the first time, just giving y'all transparency, the first time I've noticed this game quote unquote dying. Like, I've seen problems in the past years. This is the first time we saw a noticeable decline. In fact, other content creators who do tracking noticed up to like a 5% decrease in overall player activity back in like September. So it was real. And I think November gets us back, but we'll wait and see. This is just kind of an update to explain why we're hype. I want to do other videos for other things, but for those curious, this is why. Anyway, live long and plunder. Stay safe for their Space Cowboys. Deuces, that's me. Catch you on the next one. Deuces, that's me. Repeating myself. Maybe I'm having a stroke. I hope not. That sounds terrible.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.